I'm Gary. Welcome to a Power of Prudence Friday Wrap. On Friday Wraps, we talk about current events that relate to your personal security and safety. This week, we're going to talk about 5 tips for staying safe in the subway and from random acts of violence. The first way of in everything that we teach is always going to be to improve your situational awareness. You can't see a threat coming, whether that's somebody trying to hit you, stab you, or knock you onto a subway track, if you're not, if you don't have situational awareness. That's that space in your immediate environment where you can perceive threats, process them, and then react to them. So the number one tip is to improve situational awareness. There are 2 ways to do that. One is to eliminate distractions. No cell phones and no earbuds, and when you're down in a subway, it's a danger zone. Keep your phone away, keep your eyes on what's going on around you. And the second way is to focus on your environment. Don't when you're walking around down in the subway or on the sidewalk, look at what's going on around you. Look at people. Don't walk, just focus straight ahead, head down, going. Pay attention to the environment. You have to perceive the threats in order to react to them. So tip number 1 is your situational awareness. Tip number 2 is to be intentional about your distance from potential threats. If I see somebody that makes me nervous or I think it's a threat, or let's say I'm worried about the edge of the platform by the train tracks or subway tracks, I intentionally keep distance between myself and those. The same goes with like a dark area along the edge down in the subway where there might not be lights. But don't just aimlessly drift or allow crowds to force you towards closer to a threat. Be intentional, maintain some reaction distance. The third way is that when the threat is high, like whether I'm in a crowd or I feel something or see something that makes me nervous, I always want to get in myself ready to react. The 2 ways you do that are, 1, to work on your stance. If I'm standing, let's say at a subway platform, I'm going to lower my center of gravity. I'm going to widen my stance some, so I have a solid base. That enables me to take, some corrective action, but B, it makes me harder to knock off my feet. So lower center of gravity, widen your stance. And next is my hands, particularly if I'm in a close-in crowd. I want to put anything I have in my hands in my pockets, over my shoulder, somewhere. I want my hands free to deflect, to move people, or to launch my own counterattack if I need to. So the step number 3, or tip number 3, is when a threat's high, to make yourself ready. And the 4th thing is to not look like a victim. Victims are chosen for random violence because they're walking around either distracted, not looking where they're going, or that they're walking with their head down and shoulders slumped forward, and they look like somebody that's wanting to become a victim. When you walk around, your head is up, you're erect. If you see somebody that makes you nervous, hey, look at them. Make sure they know that I'm not intimidated. I see you, I can identify you, and I will know if you start to do anything. And so 4th then, or the 5th, is let's just give a couple specifics about subway, where to stand. I already talked a little bit about I'm going to stand sideways if I'm going to be up close. Let's say I have to get close to the edge of the platform so I can fight everybody else to get on that next train that comes. So I'm going to stand sideways. I can see the train coming, I can see people around me, and it's a lot harder to knock me off my balance or take me off my feet from the side. Again, we've improved our stance than it is if I have my front or back to the platform. And when we watch, the other thing is when I'm in that crowd watching up close, I'm looking for sudden movements of people around me, their head, neck, shoulders, or upper arms. If somebody's going to throw a punch or pull a knife, I'm going to see his shoulder or arm start to move suddenly. And if somebody decides they're gonna try to tackle me or push me, that's usually starts with a movement of the head or neck, a sudden move towards me. So that's what I'm looking for in close. These are 5 quick and easy tips to keep you safer on a subway or on a sidewalk. Thanks for tuning in to The Power of Prudence, and be sure to like us and subscribe on social media.